Welcome to CEO's Library, the 1% bookshelf. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a book that might just change the way you think about thinking itself. Imagine a world where creativity is more valuable than coding, where empathy trumps logic, where starving artists are a thing of the past. That world is here, and it's the subject of Daniel Pink's groundbreaking book, A Whole New Mind: Why Right-Brainers Will Rule the Future. In this episode, we're going to explore why the future belongs to a very different kind of person, with a very different kind of mind. We'll uncover how the rise of abundance, Asia, and automation is rapidly reshaping our world, and why the abilities that have been overlooked and undervalued in the information age are becoming increasingly crucial in what Pink calls the conceptual age. But this isn't just about understanding a shift in the economic landscape. It's about equipping yourself with the tools to thrive in this new era. We'll delve into the 6 essential aptitudes that Pink argues will be critical for professional success and personal fulfillment in the years to come: design, story, symphony, empathy, play, and meaning. So, whether you're a business leader looking to stay ahead of the curve, an employee wondering how to future-proof your career, or simply someone curious about where our world is headed, this episode is for you. Let's dive in and discover how to cultivate a whole new mind. Our world is changing, and it's changing fast. For the past century, the dominant approach to work and life in Western society has been what Daniel Pink calls L-directed thinking, a form of thinking and an approach to life that is characteristic of the left hemisphere of the brain. It's sequential, literal, functional, textual, and analytic. This kind of thinking has been incredibly valuable in the information age, where the ability to process and manipulate information was king. But Pink argues that we're now transitioning into a new era, the conceptual age. In this new age, the scales are tipping in favor of a different kind of thinking, what he calls R-directed thinking. This approach is simultaneous, metaphorical, aesthetic, contextual, and synthetic. It's the kind of thinking that's characteristic of the right hemisphere of the brain. Now, you might be wondering, what's driving this shift? Pink identifies 3 key forces: abundance, Asia, and automation. Let's start with abundance. In much of the developed world, we've reached a level of material plenty that our ancestors could scarcely have imagined. This abundance has satisfied, and even oversatisfied, many of our material needs. As a result, consumers are now seeking products and experiences that are not just functional, but also beautiful, meaningful, and emotionally satisfying. This shift is placing a premium on design, storytelling, and the ability to create transcendent experiences. Next, there's Asia. Globalization and telecommunications advances have made it possible for companies to outsource many types of white-collar work to countries like India and China. Jobs that involve rule-based left-brain work, things like basic computer programming, accounting, and legal research, can now be done more cheaply overseas. This means that workers in developed countries need to cultivate abilities that can't be easily replicated by someone on the other side of the world. Finally, we have automation. Computers are getting better and better at the kind of rule-based logical thinking that has long been the strength of left-brain work. Software can now do many tasks that once required human knowledge workers. This automation is forcing professionals to develop aptitudes that computers can't easily replicate. These 3 forces are converging to create a world where right-brain qualities, artistry, empathy, inventiveness, big-picture thinking, are becoming increasingly valuable. As Pink puts it, the future belongs to a very different kind of person with a very different kind of mind: creators and empathizers, pattern recognizers, and meaning makers. So, what does this mean for you? How can you prepare for this new era? Pink argues that the key lies in developing 6 essential aptitudes. Let's explore each of these in turn. The first aptitude is design. In an age of abundance, it's no longer enough for products and services to be merely functional. They need to be beautiful, whimsical, and emotionally engaging as well. This goes beyond just aesthetics. It's about creating products, services, and experiences that communicate value and enhance our lives. Consider the example of Target. This discount retailer has partnered with top designers to create affordable, stylish products for the masses. They have recognized that even budget-conscious consumers want products that are not just cheap, but also well-designed and aesthetically pleasing. Or think about Apple. Their products aren't just functional, they're objects of desire. The sleek design of an iPhone or a MacBook is as much a part of its appeal as its technical capabilities. But design thinking isn't just for products. It's increasingly being applied to services, user experiences, and even to tackling complex social problems. For instance, design thinking is being used in healthcare to improve patient experiences and outcomes. To cultivate this aptitude, Pink suggests exercises like keeping a design notebook to record examples of good and bad design you encounter in your daily life. He also recommends visiting design museums and studying the principles of good design. The second aptitude is story. In a world awash with data, the ability to place facts in context and deliver them with emotional impact has become enormously valuable. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. We see this in the business world with the rise of corporate storytelling. Companies are realizing that to truly engage customers and employees, they need to go beyond just presenting information. They need to craft compelling narratives. Take Airbnb, for example. They don't just advertise accommodation. They tell stories about belonging anywhere, about living like a local. These stories resonate with their audience on an emotional level, creating a connection that goes beyond the transactional. Or consider how doctors are being trained in narrative medicine. This approach recognizes that understanding a patient's story, not just their symptoms, is crucial for effective diagnosis and treatment. To develop your storytelling skills, Pink recommends exercises like writing mini sagas, 50-word stories, and participating in storytelling events. He also suggests studying the structure of great stories to understand what makes them compelling. The third aptitude is Symphony. This is the ability to see the big picture, to synthesize rather than analyze. It's about recognizing patterns, crossing boundaries, and combining disparate pieces into an arresting new whole. In a world where information is abundant and easily accessible, the real value comes from being able to see connections and craft creative solutions. This is where the symphonic thinker shines. Take Elon Musk, for example. His success comes not from being an expert in any one field, but from his ability to combine insights from different domains, energy, transportation, space travel, to create innovative solutions to complex problems. Or consider the field of biomimicry, where scientists and engineers look to nature for solutions to human problems. This requires the ability to see connections between seemingly unrelated fields. To cultivate this aptitude, Pink suggests exercises like learning to draw, which teaches you to see relationships in the big picture, and forcing yourself to find metaphors and analogies in your daily life. The fourth aptitude is empathy. In a world where logical thinking can be outsourced or automated, the ability to understand human emotions, to forge relationships, and to care for others is becoming increasingly valuable. We see this in the rise of fields like user experience design, where understanding and empathizing with users is crucial. We see it in healthcare, where empathy is recognized as a key component of effective care. And we see it in leadership, where emotional intelligence is increasingly valued. Consider companies like Zappos, which has built its entire business model around empathy and exceptional customer service. Or think about the success of books like Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman, which highlight the importance of empathy in personal and professional success. To develop empathy, Pink suggests exercises like learning to read facial expressions and practicing active listening. He also recommends volunteering and putting yourself in situations where you interact with people from different backgrounds. The fifth aptitude is play. In a world where work is becoming increasingly complex and creative, the ability to play, to be lighthearted, to use humor, to engage in joyful exploration is becoming more important. We see this in companies that are incorporating play into their work environments. Google, for instance, is famous for its playful work culture, which it sees as key to fostering creativity and innovation. We also see it in the growing field of game design, which is applying principles of play to everything from education to healthcare to business strategy. To cultivate this aptitude, Pink suggests exercises like learning a new game, incorporating humor into your work, and finding ways to make routine tasks more playful. The final aptitude is meaning. In an age of material abundance, many people are seeking purpose and significance in their lives and work. The ability to create meaning, to work towards something larger than oneself is becoming increasingly valuable. We see this in the rise of social entrepreneurship, where businesses are created not just for profit, but to solve social problems. We see it in the growing importance of corporate social responsibility. And we see it in individuals who are increasingly seeking work that aligns with their values and gives them a sense of purpose. Consider companies like Tom's Shoes or Warby Parker, which have built their brands around the idea of making a positive impact in the world. Or think about the growing trend of ikigai, the Japanese concept of finding purpose in life, which has gained popularity in the West. To develop this aptitude, Pink suggests exercises like keeping a gratitude journal, meditating, and regularly reflecting on your personal and professional goals. As we wrap up, let's recap the key points we've covered. We're moving from the information age to the conceptual age, driven by the forces of abundance, Asia, and automation. To thrive in this new era, we need to cultivate 6 essential aptitudes: design, story, symphony, empathy, play, and meaning. These aptitudes aren't just nice-to-haves, they're becoming critical for success in many fields. They're what will set you apart in a world where routine cognitive work can be outsourced or automated. But beyond professional success, cultivating these aptitudes can lead to a richer, more fulfilling life. They can help you see the world in new ways, connect more deeply with others, find more joy in your daily experiences, and create meaning in your work and life. So, how will you start developing your whole new mind? Will you start keeping a design notebook? Will you practice telling stories? Will you look for connections between seemingly unrelated ideas? Will you work on understanding others' emotions? Will you find ways to incorporate more play into your work? Will you reflect on what gives your life meaning? Remember, this isn't about completely abandoning left-brain thinking. It's about complementing those logical, sequential abilities with these right-brain-directed aptitudes. It's about developing a whole new mind that can thrive in the conceptual age. Before we go, I want to remind you that you can find a link to purchase A Whole New Mind by Daniel Pink in the description of this episode. And if you want to dive deeper into these ideas, I encourage you to check out the full transcript and accompanying visualizations at ceoslibrary.com. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the conceptual age and the 6 aptitudes that will shape our future. Until next time, keep cultivating your whole new mind.